Hey, what's up guys? This is Jonathan from Efrain Fitness, and today I'm going to go over a series that I'm going to actually start developing on fat, just so I can kind of dissect what fat really is, what fats to eat, so you can avoid all the information that's constantly being fed to you about whether fat is bad, good, right? Coconut oil is good, then it's bad. So hopefully this series can help you understand, have some solid principles, right, under why you pick certain fats, and they can help you lead a better life and a fitter life. Cool? So just to give you a rundown, we're gonna go over saturated fats, the type of saturated fats, which ones to eat more of, which ones to eat less or avoid, and where to get them from. Cool? So hopefully your image of the celebrity fat won't look like this.
Turn the music up. Oh, hey, oh, my name is Fat. I'm going to make you fat. So sit down, relax, and eat a couple snacks.
MC Fat, right? Call him MC Fat, because he might be spitting some facts and he might be spitting some lies, and you never know which one is the real one, right?
Toma. Sí, sí. Two times now.
Okay, so here's a small little subtle chemistry lesson about saturated fats. It's not going to be boring, it's just going to give you an idea of the principles behind saturated fats. That way you can weed out the BS. Cool? So let's just get down to its molecular form, right? So saturated fat is a chain. It's a chain of fat, right? You have a short chain, medium chain, and long chain, right? In these chains, you have the basic component of it, which is a carbon. So let's say you have a carbon. And each carbon can do 4 bonds, right? Cool. Now, saturated is when that carbon is saturated with bonds, that's a saturated fat. So there's a lot more to this, but let's just think of it as this, right? I would say this carbon is saturated, right? This carbon is unsaturated, right? Okay, cool. So now we got that part down of what that means, saturated, right? Means the carbons are saturated with the bonds they hold, right? Now, within that, you have different types of saturated fats. You have, let's call this short chain, you got medium chain, you got long chain. Cool? Now, short chain, medium chain, long chain, you'll do 2 to 5 carbons for short, 6 to 12 carbons in this chain, and long chain is greater than 12 carbons. Cool? So now you know that saturated fat means, oh, its molecular form is that the carbon is saturated in bonds. Boom, that's one point. Now you know insaturated fat, there's 3 different types of saturated fat. So within these carbons, they can be linked with other carbons, right? So if it's 2 to 5 carbons linked together, it's a short chain. If it's 6 to 12, it's a medium chain. If it's more than 12 carbons, it's a long chain. Cool? Okay, so now let's go over a common short chain fatty acid. This is called butyric acid. Butyric, Mr. Butyric. Short chain because it has 4 carbons. Now, there are hydrogens here. There's oxygen bonded to it at the alpha end. Alpha, you have omega, beginning end. But let's not get into that right now. The whole point is to show you that they're short, medium, and long. There's one short chain called butyric acid that has 4 carbons. And the way this is set up, they all react in your body very differently. And it might be subtle 2-carbon change, but the way they just react to the body to me is amazing on how things just affect the way everything works. But let's just go over this again. Butyric, right? So it's 4 carbons. Let's just say 4 carbons. You got 4 carbons. And this is a short chain. Short chain saturated fat, right? Because in the carbon, all the bonds are saturated. So it's a short chain saturated fat. Butyric acid, through research, has known to have a lot of health benefits, and they'll be displayed below. Now let's go over a medium chain. And you've probably seen this when you walk into your little supplement store like GNC, Vitamin Shop. You see MCT, medium chain triglycerides. People talk about that stuff, right? Let's go over one. So I don't want to sit here forever and just writing carbons. You're gonna get the idea. This one has 12 carbons, right? And it's fully saturated. So could you imagine 12 carbons being linked together, right? It's called lauric acid. It is a medium chain fat, saturated fat. Why? Because it has 12. Remember, medium chain is 6 to 12. Now the cool thing here is that 50% of coconut oil is lauric acid. And the benefits of lauric acid is right here. We're going to go through a long chain saturated fat, right? Which is greater than 12 carbons. Let's go through palmitic acid. Palmitic is 16 carbons, right? Fully saturated carbons. And it's funny because palmitic acid is the saturated fat that a lot of research studies utilize, and it's no wonder why saturated fat is going to come out bad, because palmitic acid research has been shown these things. Got one more for you. Now, I don't even want you to say, oh, so that means long chain saturated fats are bad. No, because there's another long chain saturated fat called stearic acid. And it's 18 carbons. Now, the funny thing with that is that only 2 more carbons and it reacts totally different in the body. Just to see how chemistry works, right? And things react with each other. Here are the benefits, and here's where to get it. So there you have it. Now that we talked about saturated fat, you can have a better understanding of what it is, what types of saturated fats there are, and which ones to favor.